Hey guys, this is Nito King again, bringing you the next level of Rayman, Mosquito's Nest, where we'll be fighting the boss of the Dream Forest. And actually, believe it or not, this level is a lot of fun, with just a couple of really annoying places, like right at the beginning, where you have to jump over the entrance sign to reveal the first cage. And you saw the second cage up top. Unfortunately, there's no way to get to it yet. And this is the part I was talking about that I really hate. If you're lucky, then all these spikes will line up the way they're doing now, all swinging in the same direction at the same time, and you can survive this part. Otherwise, by the time you see that third spike, it will hit you and you will die. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I think this was my third take when I finally got past those, and pretty much just lucked out on the rest of it. So this entire first scene is basically just a whole bunch of riding the plum across the water and not getting hit by anything, or it will kill you. And there's cage number 2 that I'm actually going to be able to get. And let's not pass by the photographer. Up here, a plum that actually serves a couple of different purposes. First things first, I need to use it to jump up to this vine. And this will, of course, be the path to get to that cage that I saw earlier, at such time as I am actually able to get to it. There's just a ton of enemies over here. It's almost a test of patience just getting through this part. It's really easy. Nothing really threatening at all. And our prize for getting this far is a visit with the Ting magician. And believe it or not, I think this is one of the easier areas to get through. I mean, sure, almost everything here is difficult to jump on and jump off, and you don't have any time to waste, so making all these ledges fall is kind of pointless. Because if you stand still for a few seconds, you're probably going to lose anyway. That Ting there above that plum is probably the trickiest part of this whole scene. And if you do it the way I did, not a problem. Then you gotta work your way through that maze of falling flowers. Again, if you know the path, it's easy. And we're gonna do it with barely enough time. And then over to the left is the grapple point, which I can't use yet. It'll get me to the cage we saw earlier. And then for some reason, even though I've beaten the Ting Magician's bonus level once, he still takes 10 Tings. The manual says I should be able to play it for free, and I just won't get any more 1-ups, but I'm not even going to waste any time on it this time. So now back we go, and I'm obviously going to take the high road, and take several tries just to kill one of those enemies as another one walks in. Sort of a staple move of this game, actually, throwing your fist somewhere and then ducking so that it hits the enemy on the return trip. You've probably seen me do it a bunch of times, and you'll see me do it a bunch more. Now I'll ride the plum again, hoping to put it to the second purpose for which it was intended. That jump is just a little bit too wide to make without it. But there's nothing over to the right, no secrets, cages, trophies, or anything. So I'll just let it go. Fight my way past all these enemies, jump up onto this ledge, with no secrets attached to it. And then another plum. Certainly want to take this one with us. Now we can get up onto this mushroom ledge with no secrets attached to it. I don't know what the deal is with this scene, but there's just so much stuff around that doesn't have any secrets. Why did I bring the plum all this way anyway? But if we can get it all the way to the end, then I think there may be something. And there we go, I completely fail. That thing is easy enough to deal with, just punch it in the mouth and then jump over it. And if I can get the plum all the way over here, I think there's a secret to the right, but I don't know what it is. I didn't manage to get it all the way over, and I'm not going to go back and try. I'll have to return to this level again, so I'll try it then. And that's the first scene. There's a lot more of this to come. Again, in this scene we need to start by going to the left and find hidden cage number 3. And now we gotta go across these horizontally moving flower platforms. The trick here is to watch for those little fronds of green and blue orbs sticking up out of the water, because those mark the extremes of where the flower platforms go. So if you use those as your guide, you'll be able to time your jumps, land on the platforms, and hopefully not fall in the water. And at this part you need to duck immediately, or just jump up onto the ledge like that. I honestly have no idea why I did that. I think the reflexes just got the better of me, but it worked. More dangerous jumps, falling flowers, and almost getting knocked into the water. This part's really more annoying than dangerous. Just have some patience, jump over the spikes, and don't hit the anti-tunes. And there's cage number 4, just sitting there. No challenge at all. And of course an area over to the right that might be difficult to cross. Fortunately we can get a checkpoint. Look around for secrets. Still nothing. And there's the plum that we're going to ride across to the exit. I could jump up and grab that extra health, but I'm just missing 1 hit point. Not really that important. Definitely not worth risking falling in the water. Again, just a matter of timing. Wait for the opportunity to make your jumps, and duck on pretty much all the platforms so you don't get hit. And there's another hidden cage. Well, I guess not hidden, it's sitting right there in the open. Problem is, I gotta fight this guy with his gun while jumping over the spike. Harder than it looks. Just send the plum flying off the edge of the platform, and I can ride it to the cage. And if you add in the cage that I wasn't able to get at the beginning of the level, that's all of them. So that should be the end of the level, right? Well, except for the boss. And this bit where the boss is chasing after me with a giant spike. Obviously, touching that is instant death, and it's an auto-scrolling area, which means I gotta keep moving. Nothing too challenging yet. When you get to this point, you want to wait until he's about to hit you, so that you've got enough clearance to make it under all the spikes. Otherwise, you're going to run into the right side of the screen, and the spikes will land on your head. And probably knock you into the giant spike and kill you. Now he flies back to the left for no real reason, and everything speeds up. You get 1 jump here to avoid those anti-tunes, otherwise you have to keep moving forward at full speed all the time. You gotta know when to jump and when not to, and once you get to these vines, you're pretty much home free. There's no secrets under the exit sign, so I'm just gonna take my leave. And now we finally get to fight the boss. Or at least we would in any sensible universe. But no, there's another scene. No cages, no useful stuff at all, pretty much. Just a whole bunch of falling flowers, flying fish, spikes, everything that can knock you into the water, jumps that are almost impossible to time, and sequences of jumps that I just really don't want to think about. I could knock that plum to the left down and try to get it all the way up this hill so that I can knock it into the water over here and grab that 1-up trophy. Definitely not worth it. Instead, I'm finally going to move on and fight the boss. For real this time. It's pretty much just a bigger version of the Mosquito that I fought at the end of Anguish Lagoon. Well, I guess the middle of Anguish Lagoon. Same movement patterns, but he's got a couple new tricks like dropping spikes on you. They're really easy to dodge. And then he brings in bigger spikes. Still, really easy to dodge. And that just came out of nowhere. It's nice when you can actually see his stinger so you know where to punch. Otherwise, the bosses in this game all have patterns that it's possible to learn. Whoa, giant spike. And after the giant spike, he always flies in from the right. And when he does that, he flies so fast that you don't want to try to punch him. You just want to put your fist out there and let him fly into it. And then jump anyway, even if you manage to hit him, because just in case you missed, you don't want to be there to get hit. And he's about 2/3 finished now. So it should be about time for his last trick, where he brings in all 3 different types of spikes at once. And again, after the giant spike, he's going to fly in from the right. So like I was saying, pretty predictable patterns for all the bosses. You really just have to learn where to stand and when to attack. Easier than pretty much any other part of the game, where you've got unpredictable patterns and spikes that you just have to get lucky with. And one more hit coming up, and that's the end of Mosquito. It's kind of a shame you never get to fight the bosses again. I mean, if that were the challenge level of the whole game, I think I would have liked it a lot more. But we're not quite done yet, are we? For no reason I can understand, Batilla's now talking to us in every color she's got. But I don't care, because she's given us one of my favorite power-ups. I've now got the Grabbing Fist. In addition to grabbing the edges of ledges to pull myself up, I can now grab things like these grapple points. Which unfortunately doesn't work as nicely as you'd think, and it's really hard to use. It takes forever to get used to. This is definitely not Super Metroid grappling. Well, you can also grab 1-up trophies with it, which is the best part for me. Makes getting some of them a lot easier. And with that, Dream Forest is finished until I come back to get all the rest of the cages, but next time I will be starting Bandland. This is when you get to enjoy watching me suffer.